Hello, everybody. Good to see you. And I want to speak just for a minute to people who are watching this on YouTube. Um, each one of these is watched about 15 or 20 times, more or less, on YouTube. If you folks watching this on YouTube would like to know how to join this class, just send me an email and I'll send you the link. So my email address is Steven, Steven, at Steven Spiro, SP as in Peter, IRO.com. So it's Steven at stevenspiro.com. And I can send you the link, and then if you'd like to join our session live on Zoom, you can do that, and you can participate in the conversation afterwards. Um, so it's the last day of summer, kind of, in my opinion. I know it's not September 21st, which of course is the equinox, but it's the last day of August. So it's kind of like June, July, August, just in my little way of looking at it. So um, there's a little sort of poignancy, a little sort of sadness, a little specialness to these days that are so beautiful going forward, because we all know what's coming. And we know how long it's going to be, white and dead. Uh, and so we there's a sweetness, to me anyway, to these days of as we're going into autumn. Um, so I'd like to say just a little bit before we start about Qi. Um, and I'd like to thank the folks that sent me the book Dimension One. I'm reading it. It's great. Um, there is an easy to identify aliveness um, in the body, and in any body. And by any body, I mean it can be the body of a tree or a bird, um, or a butterfly or a human. Um, there's a quality of aliveness, which is just obvious, right? Because the being, the formation, the body, is moving around and doing all kinds of things, and it has senses, and so it's alive. Um, and that quality of aliveness is qi in the Taoist tradition. Um, it seems easy to define because we know the difference between alive and dead, right? So it's easy in a sense. It's easy to define, um, and the qualities of it are extremely subtle and very, very universal. And so that's where all this Qigong and the Taoist philosophy comes in, is how do we recognize what the Qi is doing moment to moment, okay? So we have, according to these teachings, we have six senses. We have seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, touching, that's five, and the sixth one is activity of the mind. And so the organs of those are eyes, ears, nose, tongue, body, and brain. And those are considered the six senses. So all of these bring input into the body. So the senses bring input from the world, things we see and hear and smell and so on. That input comes in to the body mind. The mind also contributes to that. So if we see something that's very sad, our body will respond to that. Or if we think of something that's very sad, or we dream of something that's not really out there, but that it's in the mind, the body will respond to that too. And by the same token, if we see a little kid happily eating an ice cream cone, our body will respond to that. There'll be a feeling that we get, an empathetic resonance that we naturally have through the senses. And so the body actually feels everything that comes into it. And so what this means in terms of chi theory is that every activity of the mind, every thought or emotion affects the body. Okay, the body feels it. That's how the body reacts. It feels it. Okay, so if that's true, which I think we can probably agree that it is, because we can verify it, we're resonating with everything. So if we see a beautiful tree moving in the wind, that causes our body-mind system to resonate with it, whether we want it to or not. It just does, right? So in a sense, when we're dealing with other sentient beings, and by that I mean beings that can feel, we're not really separate. Okay, so can a tree feel? Yes, a tree can feel. That's how it lives. It knows where the light is, and it can put its roots into the ground and kind of feel around the rocks. And um, it definitely can feel, the wind and so on. It probably can't see or hear like we do, but it can definitely feel. And so the quality of feeling is what directly connects us to all sentient beings. Okay? Is this making sense? I mean, this seems like it's kind of obvious, right? And if we go to higher beings that can see and hear, like say your cat or a dog, we can actually resonate with them even more because we know what it's like to see and to hear. Okay, so all of this is just a way of saying that this system that each of us has, this body and mind system, it's self-contained, and at the same time, it's resonating with everything around us and with whatever arises in the mind. So it's in this constant state of resonance. And the quality of the resonance is yin and yang. So it's in and out. The breath, for instance, or the heartbeat. These are yin and yang reactions, and that's what the resonance is made of this sort of vibration, this coming and going. Okay, so as we practice today, um, I just want you to have kind of this background, this understanding of what we're really doing. Because when we merge our intention with our feeling, our sense of feeling, then we can direct the presence or the flow of this aliveness that's in our body. Okay? And the aliveness presents fundamentally as tingling and heat. And you all know this because you can feel it. Like right now, you can feel the tingling in your hands. You can feel the heat of your body. So these are ways that we feel the presence of qi. And the last thing is that it's deeper than feeling, because feeling is a sense, but it's the sense that's closest to the Tao because it's resonating. And so the question isn't how does this feel? Is it warm? Is it cold? Is it rough? Is it smooth? That's not it. It's what is the nature of feeling? What is it? And that's where the mind lets go. And then we can go right into the presence of the qi. So I'm sorry for that all being long-winded. I hope it was not abstract. I want these teachings to be very concrete because we're feeling all this. We're feeling this in the body, and that's how we're verifying it. Okay? So, enough said. Let's go ahead and practice. So, as we're bringing attention to the body, let's go from top down. And so the top of the in-breath would be up here. And then as we breathe out, we're dropping the attention down. And we can feel the body here. And the way that we feel it is by this tingling aliveness that's here. And maybe the weight on the bottom of the feet. We can feel the breath and so on. But particularly in the hands and possibly in the face or other parts of the body, the whole body right now, if we really focus our attention, the whole body's tingling. Not only the skin, but in the organs inside the body. Now, if it's helpful, you can sort of label this the soul, if that's useful. For some people it is, and for some it isn't. The Taoists go both ways on it, but it's this presence, okay? Okay, and this tingling presence, this kind of very rapid vibration, is also the nature of mind. So when there's not an object of mind, not a thought, the nature of mind is just this tingling aliveness. And if it's helpful, you can locate that in your brain. But it's not limited to the brain. It's not separate from the sensations in the body. Okay? So that tingling aliveness is a felt sense, and also it's kind of an imagined presence. Okay, very good. Now we can combine the intentionality of the mind, our consciousness, with the out breath. We can sort of radiate this energy out from the body in all directions. This is an act of visualization. It's also an act of sensation. So we're feeling not only the physical body, but the area around it. So this is the big body. This is the chi body that contains the physical, and outside of it and inside of it. And just sort of let your mind relax. We're not letting go of the sensations of the standing body. That's still there. We're just expanding around it as well. So there's sort of this big body. Okay? And the body's surrounded by heat and is surrounded by electromagnetic energy. It's going up. There's this sense of this tingling expanding around the body. And we can actually stay with this quite a while, just moving the attention from the physical body to this expanded body and back and into the breath and the bottoms of the feet, wherever you want it to go. This expanded body is somehow aware of all of the physical body, all the elements. Just relax the shoulders. Okay, now we're going to use our intentionality to expand this out farther. So let's bow to the direction you're facing. So now as we bow, we're extending our attention that direction. We come up. Okay, here's the physical body, and here's the chi body. Okay, and now let's turn to the right. And now we're going to expand in this direction. You may feel it going the opposite way too. And then turning again. And expand it out this way and maybe behind at the same time. Okay. Physical body is within the chi body. Okay. And now, last one. Okay. And then back to the first position. Okay, now we're going to dip the knees and we're going to extend this up, 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 up. We're pointing up, looking up, extending it way up. Way, 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 way up. Okay, and then as we come around, extending it all around. This is making kind of a sphere. And then we'll extend it down. And now as we come back to the lower dantian, the middle dantian, now we're including everything. Okay, all four directions and the up and the down. And so here, place our attention in the body. We're also, though, at the same time, we're aware of all those other directions, 6 directions. Now, check the hands, see if there's this tingling there, and there may be a resonance with the body, within the body. Okay, very good. Okay, and then just let the body be soft and move it around a little if you like. We don't want to get stiff. And so with the out breath, we radiate out, just like the sun. With the in breath, the attention comes in into the body. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and break our stance a little bit. All right, now let's loosen up the head, neck, shoulders. Since the body's resonating at a very, very fine level, if the body's resonating with all the experiences that you've had today, some of that gets sort of stuck. Some of it just gets breathed out or grounded out, but some of it results in tension. You know, we all carry tension around. Some of it's really old, and some of it's brand new. But this is why we want the body to be supple and relaxed, so that it's not holding on to that tension that's been stored in it, because it will otherwise. Okay. Okay, and then just really opening the breath. So, so this is a gesture of, you know, this is the radiance. This is the extension, the big body. It's this big, okay, and then into the into interior. Okay, this big, it's big, 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 and it's also concentrated. So there's this natural expansion, and there's this natural um, condensing. Okay, very good. So this is opening all the dantians, opening the whole vertical axis. You've all done the 7 gates. We're opening all the 7 gates. The whole body is breathing. And every cell in the body is breathing. Okay. Okay, very good. And then loosening up the hips. Well, I guess we rock the pelvis. Rock the pelvis first. I actually, in practice, don't do this very much. I do this one kind of probably several times a day, and I think that the first one is pretty much included in the second one. So this is, yeah, this is, you know, there are benefits to this that you can easily feel and see, but this is also from the point of view of chi, from the level of chi, this is allowing the body to let go of input that it's had to deal with. Okay. And then this balance one, um, I guess Trisha, you, my teacher, just considers this so important, just physically, uh, particularly as we age, that the ability to balance, this can save us. Well, it can save our lives for sure. So she always includes this one-leggedness in any of her classes. Very, very important. So because that's how I was taught. So that's how I teach. Okay, good. And I noticed y'all doing the Tai Chi twist at the beginning, and it's wonderful. And let's just tune in now. Just put our attention. Um, we want to go beneath feeling, so we can feel the body moving. We got that down, and we can feel the breath, and maybe we can feel the heart rate, feel heat coming out of the body. And now let's go back to the resonance. The resonance within the body, the tingling aliveness within the body. Okay, so it's contained. And now let's let the hands and arms, let's just let this get bigger, because now we're moving our attention beyond the body. And just feel how this is for you, and do whatever arm movements feel appropriate. Because with your intentionality, you're moving, you're affecting, the body's resonating with the intention of your mind. So if your intention is to sort of express this out, the body's going to do that. Okay? If your intention is to sort of, concentrate more in the body, maybe your arms, your hands move less, the body's going to do that. It's going to resonate with the mind. And just notice the quality of this resonance, how it changes with the expansiveness of the arms and hands. So let's go very big, and then reduce, get very small. So it may feel warmer when you're focusing on the body. It may feel, cooler, less dense, more open. But the body is resonating with all of this, and so is the mind. Okay, very good. Now let's go to the hands. Move the attention to the hands, particularly the palms of the hands. And as we're doing cloud hands, the palms are facing each other. So in this one, I mean, you can probably feel this kind of connection between the hands, not connection, but sort of a, I don't know, kind of an echo or something. This is balancing yin and yang in the body. And yin and yang being the left hand and the right hand, up and down. We're balancing these things, left, right. We're balancing the chi, the aliveness of the body. The body is responding to this. Okay? It's resonating to the intention to come into balance. And when the energy in the body is in balance, the body's alert and relaxed, and tends toward health. Okay? So this is what we're doing, is we're affecting the response of the body to what we're doing. So let's just hold here. So you can think of the body, you know it's made up of all these trillions of cells, but you can sort of think of each one being a tiny magnet. And we're aligning all these magnets together. Where before they were pointing in different directions, now they're kind of lined up. And the physical body, and let's do heaven and earth. Physical body is the connection between heaven and earth, according to these teachings. And so earth is physicality, heaven is boundlessness. Okay, so let's dip the knees. So we'll send one hand up, one down. Okay, now we're balancing heaven and earth. Okay, we balance the body. Now we're extending that. Okay, and then coming back. Okay, embracing the world of form. Okay, and now the other hands. Extend beyond the body, way down into the ground, roots in the ground, and way, way, way up, like branches, or way, way up into the cosmos. Extending. Okay, and now we're balancing, bringing one up and one down. Okay, and radiating and concentrating. So way up and way down at the same time. This is an even bigger body. Okay, and back. Okay, and now we'll do the next level of balancing heaven and earth. Okay, so one hand up, one hand down. Stretch. Okay, turn the palms. Switch. Okay, go into this meditation, this visualization. Whole body's aligned. Way up, way down. Okay, turn the palms and switch. So this is the vertical axis. Then turn. This is the radiant body, the chi body, the big body, aligned with the big yin and yang, which is form and emptiness. It's in harmony. Now we're harmonizing not just this physical body, but the big body, the chi body. Okay? Okay, extend the big body way up, the big body way down. Okay, very good. Okay, and now come back. Now just using the mind, just bring awareness to the physical body, to the chi body, the bigger body, and the alignment of those together, and with the sky and the earth. Now the body is resonating with this, and the mind is resonating with this. Okay, and so if you just think of a tree, if you can see one, that's great. If you just think of a tree, the sense of feeling you have right now is not unlike the sense of feeling the tree has. We don't really know what it is, but it's not unlike this. So there's a resonance there. All sentient beings. Okay, let's go ahead and come back to standing. And I think that the animal movements that go probably best with this are the cranes. So let's go into the walking crane. And so the left hand comes up, right hand back, and then the opposite. And then we're going to lift the opposite leg. Crane walks the riverbank. And so what are we doing here? We're intentionally balancing the left and the right. And the body's resonating to that. It's balancing all of the yin and yang of the body. And then bring awareness to the breath. Move with the breath. Okay, so there's this balancing this yin and yang. We can feel that. There's also the intention to do this. Okay? That intention is neither form nor emptiness. It's consciousness. Consciousness contains both form and emptiness. And that's close to Qi, what Qi is, or the Tao. It's close to the Tao. The tendency to balance. Okay. Okay, let's do one more on each side. Okay, very good. And now let's do the flying crane. Any iteration of the flying crane. We don't really know what a crane feels like when it's flying, but it's a little bit like this. So there's a resonance with the experience of a crane in doing this. And the crane can see, and we can see. The crane can hear, and we can hear. The crane can feel. The crane gets sleepy. The crane gets hungry. We know all of this. So at the level of consciousness, there's a resonance between this body-mind and the body-mind of a crane. Not the same, but arising out of the same body, senses, mind. A resonance. That's why the ancients based all of these on animal movements, because they felt a natural resonance with the animals, which is true. You can do the internal, if you like. Come down slowly. Okay, let's reduce the movements. Okay, let's go ahead and take our seat. Now we're aware of the physical sensations right now, the sitting body and so on, breath. You can feel the presence of all this. And the mind naturally locates everything. Okay, that's my hand, that's my knee, that's my foot, that's my lungs. That's what the mind does. Now let's consciously move out of that way of thinking into the bigger body, so that when a sensation arises, appears, we're not locating it. In the Qi body, sensations just appear and disappear. Don't name it and don't locate it. Sensations come and go. Thoughts come and go. In the big body of consciousness, They just appear and disappear. Let's try remembering doing the crane practice that you just did. Remember it in detail, the movements and the feeling. Where are those feelings located? The body's still. In your mind, the body's moving, and it's feeling the movement. Where is this occurring? Or is it just occurring? Okay, let's let that one go. And now just focus on every cell in the body is alive. Every cell, there's trillions of them. Where is this occurring? Every cell in the body is tingling. The space of the mind is tingling. Just let go. Don't have to locate it. It's just consciousness arising and passing away moment to moment. Don't perceive it. Don't get in the way of it. Just let it happen. Okay, and it's happening in this body mind and also in the body minds of every other sentient being right now, all at once. And back through time. So this is getting close to the Tao. It's way too big and way too fast to even begin to perceive it. And the feeling quality of this is joy. It's just good to be alive. Okay, and then when you're ready, just begin to move a little bit. So the body's resonating with those practices. Can you feel it? That aliveness may be more clear, stronger. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and do our closing. So we'll clap our hands. 1, 2, 3. So thank you for your practice, and we practice for ourselves, and we practice for others. And before you go, I just want to say, well, what use is this? And there are many, but one is that it has to do with being aware of subtle feelings in the body, and being aware of resonance or empathy with other beings. And then we can just intuitively know what to say and what to do in any given moment, because we can feel it in the body. The deeper the resonance, that's where we want to go. And if it's heavy and sharp and blocked and narrow and stiff, we can feel it, and we don't want to manifest that. And if that's where we're stuck, then we need to, expand so that we get a bigger picture. So it's the use is moment to moment, and it affects all of our decisions and all of our relationships. So it's profoundly useful. For in a state of tension, a lot of the time it's difficult to connect to that deeper resonance, and then our decisions will be based on maybe not the best information. So that's the effect of it all. Okay, so thank you, and if you want to vanish, please do, and if you want to stay, that's fine too. Okay, questions or comments about the resonance?
I have a question, and I'm sure you've gotten this question before. We're all individual and vibrate at different levels of resonance, shall we say. And certainly we encounter people and their energy. Is it possible that they leave a little bit, or something that we keep of their energy with us? And is that something that can continue to be connected with the other person? I say this because I ask this because I had an experience once. This person, incredible energy, and I remember I could feel them tearing away from me.
Mhm.
I could literally feel that.
Mhm.
I'd never had that experience before. This was a special, connection ours. And I'm wondering, is it a residue of feeling that I have that is still there, that is still vibrating, connected, even though it's 56 miles? Um, or I, I, I it was real, and I knew exactly what was happening, and it was confirmed later in the weekend. And it's, when we think about resonance in trees and how we are doing this work for the good of all, I cannot tell you how how um, how true that is. How we need to be mindful and spiritually as developed as we possibly can, because we feel each other, or have different levels of feeling other people, but we can feel each other deeply, and what we think and how we feel can affect us. And it's I'm here to say it's real.
Yeah, yeah. I think everyone agrees with you. Yeah, yeah. And from the point of view of Qi, I mean, definitely, because there isn't a differentiation between feeling or thinking and the body. The you can't separate them. If we didn't have a body, we wouldn't be thinking. I mean, you can't separate these things. So if you really have a deep connection with someone, and I was going to ask you if they're still living, and it sounds like they are.
They are.
But yeah, this extends beyond death too. But yeah, and that's real.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't have to tell you that. I'm just validating. I'm just agreeing with you. You know, and I think this is what happens. I've done quite a bit. I used to do quite a bit of. I've spent quite a bit of time with people who are dying, and I've seen this happen where someone's very close to someone, um, and the person dies,
Mhm.
and part of them goes with them. I don't know how else to say it.
Mhm.
And sometimes the person, just the survivor, is just almost not there for a
Mhm.
while.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
do.
yeah, so I think we do develop these resonances are unavoidable.
Right.
It's just, do we want to pay attention to that, or do we want to block it? And we
We
do
almost
block.
have to, right? Don't we almost have to, right? That's the it's the mind to be mindful of ourselves, and that's the thing. Everything starts with mindfulness for me. I mean, and for all of us here, right? Just being mindful, whether it's
Yeah,
eating or eating too much, whether because and being mindful of our thoughts and ourselves, and just doing the work constantly is just being mindful of our presence,
right.
presence.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I think,
And
yeah.
we do have a limit, so we have different tendencies. Some people's tendency is to be very empathetic. That's the first thing they go to. Is their heart moves. And what happens with them is they lose their boundary. They get pulled into all the suffering around them, or all the joy, or whatever it is. And then other people tend to not to be the opposite. Well, I just don't want to deal with that. and just get that away from me, and I'm going to be myself. And they're blocking their empathy. I think I mentioned last time that the man in prison who said, he said, I just don't have any empathy. He'd committed some serious crime, but he just said, I don't have any empathy. And he's wrong. That is not true. You can't be alive and not have empathy. You're going to resonate with anything. If you see somebody, bang their head against a wall accidentally, there's gonna be a resonance for you when you see that. That empathy is there. And I said, you're wrong. You do. And it didn't take much to convince him, just a few little demonstrations. He definitely has empathy. Once he let go of that idea, I don't have empathy, then he has a path forward. But if he thinks I don't have any empathy for anybody, then he can do whatever he wants. And he has, and he will. So it's how what you're expressing here is that you must have been experienced deep love with this person or some deep connection with this person, because you weren't blocking that for whatever reason. So it's how open do we want to be to
Right.
and there's so much suffering in the world. We can't be open to all of it. I can't anyway. I have to.
Right.
I'm sorry. That's too. I have to limit. What I can deal with. But yeah, it's absolutely real. It's absolutely real when you're dealing with the chi body, which
Right.
is an energetic body. It's connecting to other people, and there are practices for that too, which that's a whole other thing. But because some connections are unhealthy,
Hmm.
you all know what I'm saying,
Oh,
and
sure, sure.
and there are ways to let go of those connections
Mm.
if they're unhealthy connections, and
Can we
yeah,
can we can we do that? Can we work on that in an upcoming session?
we can do that next time. Yeah, we can do that. Sure. Yeah, that's very useful.
Not that there's any need or anything.
Yeah, it's very useful and it's very effective, because we want to like chop it off, and well, that's pretty violent, and that kind of harms us,
Yeah.
or we want to ignore it, or we live with it or whatever. But there are ways of doing that. We'll do that, so you can break connections and you can establish connections.
Mhm.
Yeah. You take off. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Remind me. Okay,
I
Zoe.
will try to remember that that's what we're gonna, that's
We
what I
we'll
want to
definitely
talk
we'll
about.
definitely
I'll send
do
you
it.
an email and then
Okay.
like
Oh,
pro
okay.
memoria.
Yeah. Very, very useful.
I just want to say I find this, I don't really know anything about Taoism other than what you share.
Yeah.
And I always find it really interesting. I mean, one of the things that today was really striking to me is how, I mean, this is basically what Native people say, right? Like we are connected to everything. And so you have to honor, the other beings in the world. And one of the things that we've talked about in the past is the Taoist view on male and female is basically just different sides of the same coin.
Yin and yang. Right.
Right. And, I find that a much healthier perspective than the Judeo-Christian, outlook. So anyway, that's all. But yeah, I'll send you an email about.
Okay. Yeah. Well, between you and me, I mean,
Yes.
these are patriarchal. I mean, the Judeo-Christian religion is very tipped toward the masculine. I
Yeah.
mean, there's a Virgin Mary and there's this and that, but it's very unbalanced, and that's the Taoist view of it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not. It's even the cross. The cross is unbalanced. That cross beam is too high and it's
Yeah.
too short. It needs to be
Right.
in the middle, and needs to be even,
Yeah.
equal. That would be a
Right.
Taoist symbol,
Yeah.
So,
It's
It's like
interesting.
the cross of St. Andrew is more
Yeah.
in that way.
Yeah. The Celtic cross is so much more balanced.
oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm gonna
Okay.
thank,
Okay.
thank you.
Take off. All right. Thanks
Thanks
for
for
coming.
sharing your experience,
Yeah.
Lydia.
Thank you
That
very
was
much.
really,
Yeah.
that was awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks for the book. Okay. So yeah, thank you for that, Lavinia. I mean, that's
Sure.
yeah, and I actually haven't heard that before. I mean, not in terms of Qigong,
It
you
makes
know,
sense.
and yeah, it's really really useful.
I just have one more comment. I missed last week live, so I saw it on YouTube, and again today, just when we do the physical motion and then cease that and do it internally with projection, and then find awareness. It's a very cleansing steps, and I'm using them like whenever I have to go and communicate clearly, and when I have to, have my lose my agitation. But those series of steps, it sort of, I don't know what it does. Well, I do know what it does. You told us, but it just has the effect of clearing the mind and getting to a broader sense of awareness. So I just want to tell you I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so I think the last two sessions have been on that, or I think the one before too. But
Yeah,
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 thank you.
yeah. This is what I just personally what I do before I do one-on-one visits with inmates, for instance. Between those sessions, I clear just the way that you're saying. You clear that out so that you can be open to this channel really, so that you can go with the next one without the stuff from the last one. So I mean, it sounds to me like you either you teach or you speak or something, and you need to just take that breath or two and just clear.
Yes,
Yeah, just clear the field. Mhm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Just whenever you engage a group, it's always helpful to be able to be present and aware, to be open to them, just because your energy, uh, if you're relaxed and open, it puts them at ease.
Yeah, it's so
Right? We all
true.
know this. We all
Yeah,
know this. So it's for them and it's for me, but it's for, so that we have a good time. But
yeah.
again, thank you, and
Okay,
I'll see you next week.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank
Take
you.
care.
me
Have a
too.
have a good
And
night.
yeah,
Bye
I
bye.
have one question, but it's sort of more directly relating to me, so I can email you
Okay.
or yeah, I think